Hey there, wonderful souls. Welcome to vgsastro. Today we'll be diving into Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for the year 2025. Saturn will remain in this sign for the next 2.5 years, starting from March 29th, 2025. A lot is set to unfold during this transit, and covering everything in just one video would be quite challenging. So I'll be breaking this down into multiple parts, focusing on the different nakshatras that Saturn will pass through. And that's it. Most of the predictions I'll be sharing now will hold true throughout Saturn's stay in Pisces. However, subtle shifts in experience will occur as Saturn moves through different nakshatras, and I will cover those variations as the transit progresses. The central theme, however, will remain consistent since we are primarily looking at the influence of Saturn on one or at most two houses, especially considering the Saturn's retrograde motion over the next 2.5 years. And the first question is, will this transit be favorable for most people? And the answer is a definite yes, because Saturn will primarily transit through the nakshatras of Uttarabadrapada and Purvabhadrapada during 2025. And its connection with Uttarabadrapada is uh, particularly significant because this nakshatra is ruled by the deity Ahirbudnya, who governs over Saturn, who is associated with Saturn. He's got Saturn-like qualities, So that makes Saturn naturally comfortable and inclined towards positive influences in the sign of Pisces during 2025. And that being said, some classical texts describe Saturn as neutral in Pisces. So even if not outright beneficial, Saturn will at the very least remain in a neutral state during this transit, which is good news for those who have Saturn as their functional malefic. It'll only punish when your actions are not in sync with the dharma of this universe. Also, since Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, Saturn's presence in this sign will impose certain restrictions on Jupiter's expansive and free-flowing nature. Now, let's talk about the nakshatra. Uttarabadrapada is known for bringing stability. It mirrors the role of the Kurma avatar, who provided the foundation during the Samudra Manthan. Similarly, Saturn is also a planet that establishes stability. This year, we're going to witness a significant planetary alignment, setting the stage for a grand churning, both metaphorically and literally. And why is this churning happening? To break free from the stagnation many have been experiencing. Whether it was due to Saturn's transit through Aquarius or the impact of Mars, most people have felt stuck in some way leading up to this transit in the sign of Pisces. Now, we all know the risks of churning. It can bring both nectar and poison. That's what happened during the Samudra Manthan. So, it can bring both blessings and challenges. However, Saturn itself will remain neutral towards all planets. Its role is not to dictate outcomes, but simply to provide the stable foundation needed for the churning process to unfold. And the churning happens because of an innate drive, either to break free from stagnation or to move forward towards greater prosperity. Everyone desires progress, and many are now weary of being stuck in the same cycle. People are craving action, seeking release from the long held inertia. And as Saturn moves into Pisces, it will find itself at the very heart of that turbulence. A wave of change is set to unfold, but Saturn won't impose it on anyone. Instead, it will facilitate transformation through your own choices and efforts. No one will be forced to change. The churning will kind of be driven by your own will, and Saturn will support that process. And for most part of the year, Saturn will take a wait and watch approach. It will allow the churning to unfold, letting you proceed with the changes you wish to bring into your life. The results of your actions, now that's whether rewarding or challenging, will reveal themselves over time. However, one thing is certain: if you take shortcuts or resort to dishonesty to achieve your goals, Saturn will become a force to reckon with. And Saturn, at its core, is a planet of action. While it may slow down your pace, it will demand long hours of effort to achieve success, instilling consistency and also expecting perfection along the way. So, wherever Saturn is transiting in your chart, that's where you'll need to put in the work twice or even thrice as much effort to reach your goals. And this process can be uh, quite exhausting. Saturn requires relentless dedication, pushing you to refine and master yourself in that particular house. However, remember that Saturn's work is laborious and physical rather than just purely mental, meaning the struggle will have a tangible, real world impact. Saturn will provide the support needed to endure and progress. And as a general remedy, I would suggest visiting the Kurmanatha Swami temple in Andhra Pradesh, India, which is dedicated to Lord Vishnu's second avatar, which is the Kurma avatar. And this remedy will be specifically helpful for those born in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, having their moon in this nakshatra, or having their lagna in this nakshatra. But also for all the 12 zodiac signs, this will greatly help bring stability and peace of mind despite the chaos that you might be going through. And that wraps up my introduction to Saturn in Uttarabadrapada. Now let's dive into the transit predictions. Let's begin with Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign. So for Aries ascendant, Saturn moves to your 12th house. And what a big relief this is going to be, especially because Saturn is moving away from your 11th house of dreams, wishes, your income, your social circle, which were restricted. And when Saturn goes into a certain house, it makes you work towards that. But the fruits of that labor can almost always be felt only after Saturn moves away from the house or in the very end of the transit. So you've put in the efforts, you wanted certain things, you worked towards it, and now is the time to reap those benefits. So for Aries, some of your dreams are going to come true. You will see an increase in your income and you're going to breathe a sigh of relief after March 2025. But as Saturn enters your 12th house, there's going to be some anxiety, maybe some phobia, depression, possibly paranoia even, and a strong need to have things under your control. And that is the difficult part of this transit, especially because Saturn aspects your sixth house of disease, of enemies, and it slows their onset to a significant degree. But since the effect is almost on a daily level, because sixth is also about routines, this could cause long term damage to the mind. It's a very difficult placement to deal with unless you have auspicious planets in the 12th house in your natal chart, or you're someone who's into practicing mindfulness and sticks to a very healthy lifestyle. So, very important for you guys to do something on a regular basis to keep your mental health in check. But since Saturn will currently be transiting the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, you might naturally find yourself with a tendency to accept things the way they are, by which I mean you will now accept that there is no reward without hard work. And in order to achieve something, you might feel that you must necessarily work hard and know every single detail and not skip any part of the process if you intend to see stability, including mental stability. So, success in any area of life, including mental health, is not just a destination, it is a journey. The most important part is the ability to hold on to that success, and you would now feel that whatever it is that you're working on, you will want to experience it completely in order to gain control. You would want to get absorbed in that tension and then find a way out. You would want to understand it in detail in order for you to sustain the challenges that you might face in future. So it's like a pilot who kind of knows every button in the cockpit, and he feels like, it's not just about knowledge that I've read in the books, but the practical experience of flying through turbulence that makes one a seasoned pilot. So it's just as they say, smooth seas don't make skilled sailors. So that is what makes this transit for Aries a very self-punishing time because you're willingly going through that turbulence, just like what I've mentioned in the introduction, where Vishnu takes on the Kurma avatar to bring stability for the churning to take place, and the turtle is willingly in the middle of all things chaotic. So that's pretty much how things are going to be. The sooner you accept, the faster you will sink in to the energies of this nakshatra, giving you peace of mind and stability. But remember, it's okay to seek external help when you need it and not do everything on your own. You don't have to face the burden alone. Seek help if you have to, especially if your moon is in the Aries sign. And this marks for those who have moon in the Aries sign, this marks the beginning of Sade Sati for you people. The Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is also very spiritual in nature, so many of you will be fascinated by mysticism, spirituality. You could be fascinated by Tantra, you could be fascinated by even astrology. So, Saturn being the 10th and 11th Lord, ruling the Aquarius sign and Capricorn sign, uh, he can also give you interest in learning about the philosophy of karma, philosophy of how the cause and effect works in one's life. 12th is also about otherworldly matters, so it could give you interest in knowing about other worlds, heaven, hell, moksha, release from birth and death, and that sort of thing. But mostly the philosophy of karma, and the more you tune into this karma, or the more you tune into this karmic realm of saving grace and apply that in your life, the more you would feel in tune with the universe blessing you with good fortune. So this is reaffirmed by the fact that Saturn will be aspecting the ninth house through its 10th aspect, which will be very favorable and beneficial for you in matters connected to religion and spirituality, and also for gaining money, in gaining wealth. But on the flip side, 12th is also the house of expenses and losses. So when Saturn moves here, he's going to slow down the expenses. Good thing, no doubt. You would not have to worry about sudden expenditure, but then you would still have massive and consistent expenses month after month. If not you, it will be for someone in the family, either spouse or children, if they are the breadwinners, and that would give you a hard time to save money because of Saturn's aspect also on the second house. Because no matter how much you save, it will be spent, and then you go back to saving again, and the cycle repeats itself. Ultimately, it's like you've gone up by 3 steps but fall back 3 steps, leaving you where you started. So this transit will teach you the importance of saving money or the value of money. You would think twice before spending that money. You may even feel undecided about what to spend your money on, or keep postponing your expenses, or be very economical in your spending habits. But expenses and losses are definitely going to be a key theme during Saturn transit into your 12th house. However, if you really want to save money and not fall back by 3 steps, as I've mentioned, the speciality of this nakshatra is what you need to tap into, and that is to let go of your temptations to splurge money, meaning sacrificing your wants to buy something for yourself. And that is when miracles will happen. That is when you will begin to see positive effects, because this nakshatra is a nakshatra of sacrifice, more like the Purva Nakshatra. And the more you give up on your temptations to spend, the more money will come to you, the more you will save, because Saturn aspects your second house from the 12th house, where the rewards will flow. Also, your family will gain some very good connections this year, showing long term friendship, because Saturn is your 11th lord aspecting the second house. Saturn's aspect on the ninth house can make you work really hard for a better future. And better future begins with better prospects with regards to work or starting a family or owning a house. And some of you would want to give that to your family by moving abroad, but since it's Saturn here, you will spend most of your energy and time in getting approval to travel abroad or finding an opportunity to travel overseas or do business with foreign people. However, bureaucratic challenges or time zone issues or immigration hurdles could make this process somewhat frustratingly slow. But then Jupiter's placement in either Taurus or Gemini is supportive of this transition and should help you land in that new place of your desire. And lastly, how can I forget? Saturn might bring some tension in the relationship with your father because Saturn puts a restriction on the ninth house and it makes communication a bit of a hurdle, requiring some effort in that direction. Alright, that's all I've got for Aries. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you're new here to catch on all the latest updates on transit and all things astrology. Moving on, we have Taurus Ascendant or Taurus Moon sign. Okay, for Taurus Ascendant or Taurus Moon sign. For Taurus people, Saturn transits into your 11th house of social circle, income, dreams, wishes, and here Shani is your Yoga Karaka planet, and that means he will be extremely favorable in the 11th house. Some of your wishes will come true this year without a doubt, and this is also an excellent position to gain name and fame in your career. One of the best placements for Shani to be in, and some of the texts also say that when Saturn moves to the 11th house, even one's enemies will become friends, and that means it's time to bury the hatchet, and you will get favors from your social circle, from your friends circle, and to the extent it is possible for them to favor you, of course, because ultimately Saturn represents some amount of restriction. So even if you don't get 100% of what you're expecting, you would still get the help that you need from your friends and family. If you're working in the organized sector, chances are that you might now work towards a promotion or a raise in salary, and that's quite possible this year, but it's still work in progress, and you will get the support of your bosses in getting that recognition which is due to you because of Saturn's aspect on the 5th house. Saturn's transit is also good for speculative business. Some of you will make a lot of money through the stock market or through unexpected means, and Saturn's 10th aspect on the 8th house will prevent any major negative sudden events from happening this year. Even if it does happen because of some unfavorable dasha or bhukti or because of such an event finding a promise in your birth chart, Saturn will not allow any major damages to take place. This is especially true for Taurus moon sign. Okay, and because of Saturn's 10th aspect on the 8th, another possibility is that of gaining inheritance through your maternal side or through your spouse's family. Some of you would also gain money through secretive means. And if Dasha and Bhukti are favorable, and when Mars enters your 4th house, and that's probably around June or July, at that time you might even consider investing in a property or buying a new asset, especially a capital asset. So huge investments can be made at this time. So June, July, August could be a very eventful month in 2025 for Taurus people. In one of the texts, I've also seen that auspicious events can take place within the family when Saturn enters the 11th house for Taurus people because he is a Yoga Karaka. But looking at Jupiter's transit in the sign of in the sign of Gemini, that kind of gets reaffirmed this year for Taurus. So harmony in relationship within the family is all possible this year. And I almost forgot, Saturn's 3rd aspect on the 1st house itself will make you feel like the luckiest person around. You probably will maintain a low profile, but you will feel very lucky and very glad that this transit has happened. Saturn will also make you leaner and a lot stronger by helping you form good habits that will keep you in good stead. So enjoy the next 2.5 years with Saturn here. For those going through Saturn return in the 11th house, This is going to help you mature as a person while seeking um, connections with other people, especially deep connections with other people, which is your social circle. It's going to kind of remodify your ideas of a good friendship, and some of you will let go of the past and move on to seek a more reliable friendship. But if you're old enough, say in your 60s or 90s, you will see many of your friends leaving you either due to death or illness, making you feel a bit lonely during this year. But the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is, remember, a very auspicious nakshatra and also a very spiritual nakshatra, which means the moment you realize or accept the fact that all good things come to an end, you will be blessed with good fortune to help yourself bring stability despite the chaos around you, which means you will learn to thrive even in situations of being alone, even in tough situations where your friends are not there for you, where your social circle is limited or completely gone. So this may be because you cannot communicate with them because of old age, or because you live far away. So work life imbalance, time zone issues, could be anything, right? So but once you realize acceptance is the way forward, you will begin to work on yourself and bring back that strength to deal with any kind of situation. And Saturn is a yoga karka. Who knows? He might give you someone who would be there with you for the rest of the journey in life. Saturn represents permanent things, and being a yoga karka, he may even bring a permanent friend into your life this year who would be there through thick and thin. Alright, that's all I've got for Taurus. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe below and share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Moon sign. Hello, my dear Gemini. Saturn moves to your 10th house in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, and he rules your 8th and ninth houses. So because he is the lord of the ninth house, and since 10th house is Saturn's own house, Saturn's own house in the natural zodiac order, and also because it is now moving to an auspicious nakshatra, Gemini folks will see progress in their career. You may see promotions or moving up the ladder, or even a better position with a lot of responsibility that could be handed over to you as Saturn transits your 10th house. The only issue with Saturn in this position is that he will make you toil and work really hard. So brace yourself to work continuously, spending long hours at work for the next 2.5 years. But being the ninth lord, he will make you a trustworthy and reliable employee who is valued by your organization for your sincerity and your honesty. So you'd have the predisposition to be dharmic in your transactions at your workplace. You will follow the rules, the ethics, and have great moral etiquette this year. And no doubt, your work will be valued by your bosses. Saturn's third aspect on your 12th house can reduce your expenses, but the struggle to keep up with the expenditure will kind of continue for some more time, and you may be spending more than what you earn. But being the ninth lord, Saturn will give positive thoughts and mostly keep your self-confidence high through its third aspect on the 12th house. However, being the ninth lord aspecting the 12th also means long distance travel due to work or business, and some of this travel will happen so suddenly that you're left with very little time to plan. And for some of those travels, you will definitely be seeing a lot of fruitful results professionally, if not personally. So this is definitely a positive transit for Gemini folks. Even though you may have a lot of travel and work on your plate, you would still have a sense of peace throughout the transit that Saturn is in the 10th house. But get ready to work really hard. There's going to be a lot of work coming your way. For those who have plans of disposing their property, because of Saturn being the 8th lord aspecting the 12th house, and also when Mars will transit opposite Saturn, I must warn you that this may not fetch you excellent results. So if you could postpone this decision, then you should do that. However, the pressure may be too much that you would be forced to part ways with your property, depending on, of course, the dasha or bhukti that is in place. Being in the 10th house, you will also get favors from financial institutions and the government. So that is another point that is worthy of mention for Gemini. You will generally see good health to your parents, although some sudden event may take place affecting your mother's health. But if you take the necessary precaution, even this can be averted, and or something that can be resolved without much to lose. Saturn's aspect on your 7th house through its 10th aspect could make you feel very responsible for your spouse and their good health. So that's one area of life that you will work on for the next 2.5 years, but there's also a possibility that you may not find enough time in your hands to do this, and you feel very guilty and responsible for this misfortune of being away or being at work all the time, and you're getting worked up. But don't get upset or worry about what you cannot do. Instead, focus on what little support you can provide, even if it is through your family, which is kind of indirect. But if you can make such arrangements to help your spouse, you should do that this year. But nothing to worry as such, because Jupiter has got your back, because it will be moving into your first house. So Saturn in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra will also make you stronger and more self-reliant this year, which means you would be able to fare well at work without much support or assistance from anyone, and you will find stability despite the chaos at work, which is the key theme of this nakshatra. So excellent times ahead for Geminis. Bask in this glory. It is your time to shine. Alright, that wraps my prediction for Geminis. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Cancer Ascendants or Cancer Moon sign. For Moon children, Saturn transits your 9th house in this year in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, and he rules your 7th and 8th houses. So Saturn will be poised to give you some small increments at work in terms of salary or hikes or perquisites or even progress in your career or some change in your role at work or an allowance that you would now get due to some additional responsibility that you would have to shoulder because of Saturn's third aspect on the 11th house. So some positive stream of income gets activated as Saturn moves to your 9th house, and some of you may even get a commission-based job this year. Contractual jobs are possible. But if you're a student, then you will find that there is so much to work on that you would rather quit studying or at least take a break. You would want to take a break. And this could happen because of moving places. Ninth is long distance travel, which means you're moving places and you end up in a place where you would have to possibly learn a new language or something that you're not used to, and that becomes part of your curriculum, and that's saying something, right? I mean, imagine that you have to actually learn a language from scratch when you're actually expected to write literature in that language. And this kind of thing usually happens in India when your parents are working with the armed forces or they're working in a government setup, especially with the federal government, where transfers are so frequent that it's almost punishing. So it's kind of crazy that way. But if you find yourself in that kind of setup, I'm not saying you will, but if you do, and if you put in the hard work and find a way to sustain and survive, you will find your balance and stability despite the struggle, because that is the speciality of this nakshatra. Saturn aspecting the 11th house can also bring good friendship, especially professional friendship. So that's one other positive aspect of this transit. For those who are into publishing some of their work, ninth is also publishing work, right? So Saturn can actually help you if it involves large amount of data, because Saturn represents the masses, it represents demographics, it represents people. So if that kind of data involves a lot of statistics, then you could find approval very quickly. And otherwise, the approval process may get a bit delayed, but I'm not saying it will be denied, it will be delayed. Spouse becomes very fortunate. Why? Because Saturn is the seventh lord going into the ninth house of Bhagya. But on the other side, Saturn being the eighth lord could give a difficult time for your father or your siblings, especially health related issues. So even if it is something small, don't ignore the signs. Get timely help. Get timely medical attention. Also, make sure that your travels are limited. Take extreme precaution while driving. Wear your seat belt at all times. And this applies to everyone in the family, as Saturn, being the eighth lord, can bring negative effects for other people within the family. Some of you may also get a stepfatherly treatment this year. Your siblings may kind of inherit the wealth, and your father may not pass on much of his wealth to you, and that might kind of bring some disappointment for some of you. If the Dasha Bhukti is supportive, then instead of being rejected, you might find your relationship with your father or gurus to be a bit distant, but nothing really to be concerned about. So, a mixed bag of events for moon children. Remember what I said about medical attention. Don't take things lightly this year when it comes to health issues and also any issues you or your family might face while traveling. Remember, forewarned is forearmed. With that, I'm wrapping up my predictions for moon children. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, share this video with your friends and family. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe below. Next up, we have Leo ascendant or Leo moon sign. Alright, for Leo folks, Saturn goes to your 8th house and in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra in the Pisces sign, and he rules your 6th and 7th houses. And let me tell you that this transit will be a mixed bag for you in many ways. Now, Saturn, to be honest, doesn't do well in the 8th house. And my guru used to tell me that the 8th house was kind of conceptualized to cause or bring damage to Saturn. I mean, this position is like one of the worst positions for Saturn to be in, except for longevity, because Saturn is in the 8th is a karaka for longevity, and the principle of karako bhavanacha doesn't apply only to Saturn. So for that reason, Saturn becomes good in the 8th, but otherwise this is not a very favorable position for Saturn to be in. And now you might be thinking, how is this even good for Leos? How is this going to be a mixed bag when it's all supposed to be negative? You see, for Leos, Saturn becomes your enemy. He becomes your debt, your obstacles, and also your disease. And when the Lord of negative things go into your 8th house, what is 8th house? It's the house of death, sudden events, transformation, and mostly negative, which means it is bad news for your enemies. It is bad news for your diseases, not you. So those of you who have been suffering from some difficult diseases and have been looking for a cure, this is an excellent year to begin your search for the right remedy. But since it's Saturn here, the results will be slow and it will take time to manifest. Since Pisces is the 12th in the natural zodiac order, 12th also, among other things, represents what? It represents moksha, it represents freedom. So here it could be freedom from diseases. Many Leos will enjoy pink of health, great immunity during this year. However, there are two issues that make this position difficult. One is losing your possessions like electronic items, or suffering financial losses, or some trouble within the family, which could leave you a bit worried during this transit because of Saturn's aspect on the second house. And second issue is that the 6th lord is also about work, life, and routine. So when 6th lord goes into the 8th house, there is a possibility of sudden events happening at your workplace which demands your presence beyond office hours or beyond your capacity to work on a short notice and bring a resolution. So there could be chaos at work, and you will be in the middle of all that turbulence trying to solve those problems. You would, in a way, feel responsible for opening the Pandora's box, but it's almost like a necessary evil, and you had to do it. So the best remedy for this would be praying to Goddess Durga, because it is, after all, the effect of the 8th house that's got you in this position. Some of you might exit from your job, but also Saturn being the 7th lord as one door closes, he will open another door or give you another job. So nothing to worry about, because Saturn, although may spoil in the beginning, he will give you positive things in leaps and bounds before he moves to the next house. So this is a tough time for Leos, no doubt about it. So you need to hang in there for some more time. Some of you will also get the benefit through inheritance or take out an insurance for the sake of your family. And the year, of course, does not augur well for your spouse, because Saturn is the seventh lord going into the eighth house. But then your spouse will also have the grit and determination of thriving amidst the chaos. And that is the speciality of this nakshatra. They will fare really well this year. Also, check out the position of Saturn in your birth chart. If Saturn is in its own sign or gets the aspect of a benefic Jupiter or Venus in the birth chart, the transit effect will not be all that bad. People having a supportive dasha bhukti will also not feel the negative effects of this transit. So if you're going through Ashtam Shani, especially for moon sign Leos, do not forget to check your birth chart and do not be scared of difficult situations. And I wanted to reassure you this, that things won't be as bad as you might think. It's just that the planet can give you a hard time in finding your source of happiness. And speaking of happiness, Saturn's 10th aspect on the 5th house will make you take fun and entertainment very seriously. And for this reason, you and your family, along with children, will see many good celebrations and happiness this year. So try and bring your focus on having a good time at home on a daily basis. And that in itself will be a very therapeutic remedy during Saturn's transit in the Pisces sign. So on that positive note, I'm wrapping up my predictions for Leos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you're new here to catch on all the latest updates on transit and all things astrology. Moving on, we have Virgo ascendants or Virgo moon sign. Virgos, how are you guys doing? Now let's look at Saturn transit in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra for you guys. And Saturn goes to the 7th house of spouse, marriage, other people, legal agreements in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra. And Saturn rules your 5th and 6th houses, and he goes to the 7th house. Now, 5th lord in the 7th indicates love marriage or marrying the person of your desire, especially for single Virgos. But the transit also indicates some struggle to get married. There could be some obstacles, some challenges that you need to address in order to have a successful married life, because Saturn is also your 6th lord. But no doubt you will see success in this area of life, but only after a lot of initial struggle, because even after marriage there could be a lot of struggle, at least for the next 2.5 years, where you would have to work on your married life to get settled down, where there's a transition. Also, Saturn here could restrict your support system. You may not get the support of your father, or you may not get the support of your family and friends. There could be disagreements with your father or breaking of a promise, which can cause sorrow. But your love and affection and loyalty towards your father will multiply during this time. 7th house is business. Saturn is also a karaka for business. Being in the 7th house, there could be some challenges in the work that you undertake. But Saturn ultimately would give you prosperity in business, because he is your 5th lord. 5th lord is all about prosperity. And he's also aspecting your 1st house, which means there could be expansion or setting up a new business unit, or even starting a new business, or your entrepreneurial skills or spirits will go up during this time. But you may not get the support of many people at this time, because Saturn is all about doing things independently. So there's going to be some kind of restriction when it comes to getting the support from other people, because of Saturn's placement in the sign of Pisces, which is in your 7th house. Saturn will give great creative attitude at your work. You will definitely find novel solutions to problems. At the same time, this year is also a turning point for you in terms of your domestic life, because of Saturn's 10th aspect on the 4th house, 7th aspect on your 1st house, and 3rd aspect on your 9th house. So there's going to be lots of ups and downs this year. Concerns regarding family's health could bog you down, and at some point down the line, there could be emotional turbulence with regards to all things connected to family, especially parents, with regards to marriage, with regards to spouse, your own body, mind, and intelligence. All of this could give you some emotional upheavals. But the best part of this nakshatra is that it will provide you the support and stability despite the difficult situation. You will find a way to be a pillar of support during this transit. And I know that you're wondering what the remedy is. For most Virgos, you wouldn't really need remedies. Why? Because this nakshatra is a very auspicious nakshatra and is a very powerful nakshatra when it comes to intuition. And therefore, just as you begin to think about solutions, you will gain new insights about what action needs to be taken in order to resolve that issue. You can call it intuition or being more aware, but the remedy will automatically present itself for you to act on. It could be information that you receive from friends or something that comes in your dreams, and you will automatically begin to move towards that direction or resolution. Fifth Lord, fifth Lord aspecting the Lagna also means some of you could face health related issues, particularly digestive issues. However, for some others, this could also indicate birth of a new child or conception after initial struggle to either lose weight or be physically and emotionally fit to go ahead with pregnancy. So, on that note, I think I'm going to be wrapping up my predictions for Virgos, but definite prosperity coming your way this year. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe if you're new here to catch on all the latest updates on transit and all things astrology. Moving on, we have Libra ascendants or Libra moon sign. Hello Librans, hope you're doing good. If you're not, you soon will be. Why? Because Saturn, your Yoga Karaka, the ruler of your 4th and 5th houses, will now transit into the sign of Pisces in your 6th house in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra. Before I begin with the specifics, I want to talk about some general predictions for Librans due to Saturn transit. One of them is moving to a new house, buying new clothes, doing things that you desire, celebrating life, getting together with family, and being happy without any dearth for prosperity, gaining the respect of people at large. All of this is going to happen in the next 2.5 years. That's just the broad outline. Now let's begin with the specifics. As this transit happens, some Libra folks will see promotions, taking on higher responsibility, being ahead, and seeing success at your workplace. But when Jupiter transits to your 10th house during October 2025 in the sign of Cancer and make its final move into your 10th house in the year 2026, Jupiter being your third and sixth lord, getting exalted in the 10th house is not very good. Although it could give you a Hamsa yoga, it's not very good for Jupiter to be in this position. However, Saturn transiting the 6th house will offer protection from any negative impact that Jupiter may cause when it's transiting in the 10th house. Although some of you might still see negative results because of Jupiter's transiting the 10th house, some of you will see very good results depending on where your Jupiter is placed in your birth chart. If in birth chart Jupiter occupies a good position and is placed in a good sign, the chances are that the transit is going to be a lot beneficial. If not, you could face some hurdles. In fact, some of you may have faced similar situation during the last Jupiter transit in the year 2014. But this time, Saturn will help you thrive. Saturn's got your back. Not just because he's your Yoga Karaka, but also because he's transiting now in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra of stability, which is associated with Saturn. And the opposition may be strong, also justified in its behavior, but Saturn will help you by seeing the flaw in the perceived perfection of your opposition, and it's going to deliver justice in your favor. So thank God for Saturn's transit in the 6th house for Libra ascendants or Libra moon sign. Otherwise, transit of Jupiter could be very lopsided because Jupiter is your 3rd and 6th lord, and 6th is obstacles, challenges. It indicates your enemies, court cases, and one should never really have 6th lord in a state of exaltation, because that would mean that your enemies will become stronger and have the propensity to cause harm. And I've seen charts where people had to quit their jobs because of their sixth lord getting exalted in the 10th house. 10th lord in sixth is welcome, but sixth and 10th is not something you want to have. But one of the best ways to find out is when Jupiter transits to your 10th house in the year 2025. It'll be there for like a brief period of time, and that will give you a sneak peek or like a trailer to a movie of what's going to happen when it actually transits the 10th in the year 2026. So pay attention when Jupiter moves to the 10th in October 2025, and if the vibes are negative, take whatever precaution you can to avoid difficult situation at work. Forewarned is forearmed. All right, let's get back to Saturn transit. Let's not make this transit about Jupiter. I just wanted to clear any doubts that you may have because of Jupiter's transit, and that's it. So coming back to our predictions about Saturn in the 6th house. What a blessing it is to have Saturn here for Librans, because it is in fact transiting at the right time. Saturn will give progress and success in career life because he is your Yoga Karaka planet. Your name and fame will increase. You will see at least small increments in your salary this year, bonuses too. And fourth lord in the 6th house would also mean that you could get rental income, income from rental property. However, if you choose to quit and find a different job, Saturn can get you a job of your desire, being the 5th lord. You're going to find a job that's enjoyable, something that you can wake up every morning and look forward to. Isn't that what everyone wants from their job? I'm sure it is. Now, let's look at health. Saturn will give you the chance to come out of any chronic illness, diseases at this time, and see better health. Drinking a lot of fluids will keep your Saturn happy. So try to add some energy drink if you're working out regularly, as many of you will take exercise very seriously this year. You're going to work out to stay fit and strong. Maybe join a gym or yoga, and that's going to up the ante for your health. Saturn aspecting the 8th house through its third aspect can bring in sudden money in the most unexpected times. Think of inheritance money or profit because of your service, even vocation. All of this is possible. If you're battling a legal case in the court, then Saturn will give you beneficial results. Single Librans struggling to get married because of some dosha in their birth chart can see marriage prospects this year. Saturn's 10th aspect will give you an opportunity to help your siblings and take on a more responsible role in their life. Saturn will bring maturity in your communication. Saturn can also bring help from your maternal uncle. Some of you will clear your debt to a great extent, but remember, this can happen only if there is a lot of struggle initially. So you're gonna have to save up money and in order to clear that debt. All right, I hope Librans are happy with my predictions. Usually my predictions are a mixed bag for you guys, but this time I couldn't see many negative things because Saturn is oh so positive during this transit. If you liked what you heard, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more such videos on transit and all things astrology, and also leave a comment if this prediction resonated with you. Next up we have Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio moon sign. Hey there, Scorpios. Let's see what Saturn transit holds for you. Saturn is your 3rd and 4th lord, and he goes into the 5th house. 5th is the house of prosperity. It is the house of children. It is also the house of your creativity. And so Saturn brings some restriction here, but he also brings you hard work, especially related to emotional stability, because he is your 4th lord. He's your 4th lord going into the 5th house. So he could make you work really hard towards emotional stability. He could also make you work really hard towards creative projects in life. Some of you will indulge in mantra sadhana. You could also see getting initiated into a new mantra or a new ritual. And the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is a very auspicious nakshatra, which means that you will see the fruits of regular prayer as Saturn moves into this house. You will definitely get into a prayer mode when Saturn goes here. You could also become very critical of your children because Saturn is about restriction. He is about discipline. He is a graduate from the school of hard knocks. So Remember to go easy on your children. However, being your fourth lord in the fifth house means that if you have little children or kids at home, you could pamper them with toys or new stuff that they desire, and that could really keep them very happy during this time. They're going to also learn in leaps and bounds, and that would make you a bit very happy because of Saturn's transit. As far as health is concerned, there could be digestive issues, but nothing very serious. Just avoid eating junk food or eating late at night. Fourth lord in fifth shows home is where the heart is, and that's where your emotions are tied to. It's tied to your home, tied to your mother. Your mother may now stay away from you, or at least take short breaks. She might go out to her hometown, re energize herself, and then come back, because third lord is about moving away. Third lord is about moving away. Same case with siblings. They might move away from their place to come back home to rejoice with family. So there could be a lot of celebration and joy within the family, but still, some amount of disappointment will become prominent during this year. You will also be working on your romantic relationships, especially so because of Saturn's aspect on the seventh house of spouse and marriage, and it will show its results very quickly. Love and affection will undergo a testing phase for Scorpios. There could be confrontation with your spouse, but then if you hold your ground and endure the hard times with patience and make course correction by compromising where you can, and you should in fact do that with Saturn in the fifth. When you do that, you will be rewarded. Saturn's aspect on the 11th house, however, can move you away from friends. Your colleagues at work could have a hard time accepting you. There could be a difference of opinion at work. You could also have more expenses than you can cough up, because Saturn puts a restriction on the 11th house of gains, 11th house of alternative income. And many of you are going to feel it, especially if you're looking for alternative source of income. You're going to feel a bit frustrated because you'll feel that you're almost there, but things are still out of reach. This could be very frustrating, but patience is virtue. Don't fall into traps because of desperation. That could happen during this transit, and you might end up losing more and being in a worse position than you were in before the transit started. So generally, for Scorpio, Saturn transit is going to be a bit negative, but then this is something that you will have to go through in order to become more emotionally stable. Remember the introduction to this video, and that's your karmic lesson. There will be worries about loans and borrowings. You would somehow want to clear your debt and see progress, but that might not happen very soon. So don't take any drastic steps towards gambling, whether it is trading in the stock market or betting on jockeys. That will definitely get you losses. It will give you losses during this year. Saturn's 10th aspect on the second house could also make you seriously contemplate on more ways to save. But that won't happen till you've sacrificed some of your wants. So mostly Saturn's transit, like I said, is a bit negative. But I firmly believe that achievement is not worth if it is handed over on a platter, right? You have to work hard towards it. There is no value for things that we get very easily in life. And I've seen the most laziest people get their inner fire or desires rekindled because of Saturn transiting their fifth house, and look forward to a prosperous tomorrow by putting their best effort. The Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is linked to the historical Samudra Manthan, and the Devatas and Asuras would not have reaped its benefit had they not offered all kinds of herbs to the ocean. So offering or donating something is seen as a very powerful way of getting the fruits of our desires, since Saturn will be settling down in the fifth house, which is related to children. Donating books, reading materials, scale, pencil, or crayons to the less privileged children, or even donating to an orphanage at this time can greatly help you with Saturn transit during this year, especially if you're looking to have a child of your own and you're seeing some delays in the area of life. Alright, hope this year works out for Scorpios. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe below. Please share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Sagittarius Ascendant or Sagittarius Moon sign. Hey there, Sagittarius folks. Saturn goes into the sign of Pisces in 2025 in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra in your fourth house. Fourth is where the home is and is also the opposite of career life. So, Saturn will make you work doubly hard at your job. Some of you will keep complaining that you're not getting enough help or recognition for all the work you're doing. Instead, you're being taxed more. You're asked to put in more hours at work and less time for family. Fourth is your home, and something strange is happening here. It could be a leaky roof or something really bad that needs fixing, and you will put in the effort to undertake renovation or move into a new home or even start construction. And even as you are renovating or reconstructing, you may have to undergo a lot of difficulty within that house. Remember what I've stated about the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra in the introduction. It's chaos, and you will have to thrive within that chaos. You could have a construction going on at home. You may face a lot of discomfort because of the seepage, the noise, the pollution. But as you endure this, the final results will have you thanking Saturn. If you're looking for a home loan, then Saturn's aspect on the sixth house can in fact help you with that loan, but it will not be without its share of struggle. That's for sure. But still, if you put in the right efforts, even if you're someone working in the unorganized sector with no job guarantees, you will still get that loan because the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is such an auspicious nakshatra and it wants to reward those that seek its help. Everything will fall into place, but only after initial struggle. You would also get the support of your bosses and colleagues to help you realize your dream home. They will support you in whatever way possible. Fourth also indicates arrival of someone new into the family or moving into a new family yourself. Since your Lord Jupiter goes to the seventh house, you could be seeing wedding bells in life, and that also means plenty of expenses. Some of you may have to borrow money for the purpose of marriage or to move into a bigger home. You may not feel very comfortable marrying right now, or you may have a hard time accepting the expenses that come with marriage because of Saturn's presence here. Where he could bring you worries and anxiety hitting the roof. But then Saturn being associated with the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra can actually give you the mental stability once you come to terms with your fourth house karma, which can be anything from construction, moving to a new home, moving to a new family after marriage, or the money that you will have to spend to see better prospects. The anxiety may also be because you're all alone and left to fend for yourself without much help from parents. But then Rahu transiting in the third house will give you courage and momentum like you never had. So don't worry too much. You would have nerves of steel this year, and you will be able to endure the difficulties like a seasoned champion. If you're in the real estate business of buying and selling land, or even as a builder, you could face a lot of restriction in business, a lot of struggle, mounting debt. You would wish things could turn around, and that may not happen anytime soon, so hang in there. Another thing that's said about Saturn in the fourth house is that there will be more expenses than gains or income, and I think that goes without saying if you're going to be borrowing money this year, especially so for Sagittarius, because Saturn is the ruler of your second house as well as your um, third house, and he goes into the fourth, which means he's going to erode your savings for the purpose of fourth house. 10th house, 6th house, and 1st house related matters. Some of you may face legal problems, health issues, hospitalization, which kind of puts a dent on your savings. And negative Saturn, especially because of its 10th aspect on the 1st house, coupled by a bad dasha bhukti, can give suicidal tendencies as well. So don't hesitate to seek help if you find yourself in this kind of situation. I'm not saying everyone's going to face this. Some of you could. There could be a few people who might experience this kind of karma. And I'm stating this to assure that person that things will be a lot better during the end of this transit. Saturn will make your life a lot better than you are in now. Donating food to old age homes can actually help you come out of many of the negative karmas right now. And suicide, guys, is not the solution. Alright, I hope this works out for Sagittarius. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe below. Please share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Capricorn Ascendant or Capricorn Moon sign. Hey there, Capricorn folks, how you doing? I hope you're feeling some relief. If not, you will soon be feeling that relief. And especially for Capricorn Moon sign, whoa, what a relief, because Saturn is finally completing its 7.5 years of scrutiny and transformation, and now finally moves to your third house. You're no doubt going to feel that tension getting away from you. You will now finally feel your foot on the ground. You would find stability. You would find firmness in your life. You may already have started feeling that, or have you? So let's find out. Saturn transits into your third house in the sign of Pisces in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, and he rules your first and second houses. So to begin with, I'll give the negative effects and then we'll move on to the positive things. Firstly, there could be sibling rivalry when Saturn goes here. There could be misunderstandings, there could be communication issues in general, not necessarily only with your siblings, but it could happen even with your siblings. And also, it means that some of you could be receiving a step-brotherly or step-sisterly treatment when Saturn goes here. And some of you could end up taking care of your siblings for most part of the next 2.5 years. And also, needless to say, third house is the house of short distance travel. So Saturn will bring restrictions to your travel, especially because he is also aspecting the 9th house of travel and the 12th house of long distance travel. So does that mean you won't be traveling this year? Not really. It's very difficult to say that someone is going to be confined to their home for the next 2.5 years. I don't think it'll be right for us to make that kind of prediction for 500 million people, especially for Capricorn folks, because Saturn rules your first and second houses. So that means, especially when it is ruling the second house and goes to the third house, it indicates expenses out of savings for the purpose of travel, for the purpose of siblings. But let me tell you my experience when Saturn was in the third house. And from what I've seen, what I've experienced, I think that can throw a lot of light about what could be in store for you guys. When Saturn was transiting my third house, it was, I think, just 3 months before my wedding. And I had to hand out wedding invites to so many of my relatives, friends, family, neighbors, past neighbors. And when I stepped out, it was pouring rain. It was like Noah's Ark all over again, precisely in the evening, every day. And I would finish work and start getting ready to visit people. Every day in the evening, it was lashing rain. It was crazy, day in and day out. I couldn't even find a cab to travel. Nobody would come because of the heavy rain. And this happened for quite a long time, almost like 2 months. I was either stuck in the rain or had to pay extra money to get to that destination, because Saturn aspecting the 9th house of good luck was really not by my side. Or I would go to that place only to find my relatives were not in town, and that was really, really frustrating. All of this was for an auspicious event, which was because of Saturn's aspect on the 5th house. So I was really working hard to see some progress in life. Then there would be travels to shop for my wedding. And each time I went to a different place to buy something, I faced some or the other restriction, either a hotel restriction, or the food was not something that I could enjoy, or I would forget my backpack, and things like that would happen. And after the wedding, we went on a vacation, and I felt sick in the vacation. I had a viral and couldn't even enjoy it. It was a hilly terrain. I did not have proper access to hospitals or a pharmacy thanks to Saturn's aspect on the 12th. That kind of put me out of reach from hospital. It kind of gave that restriction, you see. I couldn't do anything but suffer through the pain for the next 1 or 2 weeks before I got back to base. And it was grueling at that time. And I'm not saying that this is exactly how it's going to happen to you, but Saturn in the third generally brings some kind of restriction, discomfort while traveling, both short and long distance. If the Dasha Bhukti is also bad, then it could confine you to your home. I'm sure that prediction would have been very correct for many people when Saturn was transiting their third house during COVID 19, but that's something that everyone faced. So, that apart, prepare for a rough time while traveling during Saturn's transit here. Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is a nakshatra of heavy rain and also turbulence during air travel, so watch out for that. But the positive side of this transit is that many people, including relatives, will come forward to help you out to bear the storm. But needless to say, Saturn in the third would make you very courageous and very independent in your ways. You would like to do things on your own as well. And much of your efforts will be rewarded after initial struggle. You will also see progress and success in work life. Tensions and worries will go away, leading to joy and happiness. If you're looking for higher education, you'll get the support and the necessary finance for further study. And what's missing? Health-wise as well, you'll see good health after some struggle, because Saturn being the first and first lord in the third house means breaking off bad habits or kicking some vices, and that will enhance your good health. But if you're someone facing addiction since a long time, it could even be because of legally prescribed drugs or even steroids. So in that case, be prepared for the withdrawal. There is no reward without struggle, and that's what Saturn is trying to tell you. Married couples trying for a child may now see conception and childbirth. So that's another positive for you. Travel restrictions automatically fall into place when that happens. You could also spend money on things that are absolutely necessary, more like need-based spending rather than spending for your desires. There could be some struggle within the relationship as well because of Saturn's aspect on the fifth house. There could be issues in connecting with your better half, romance issues, misunderstandings. But then, if you're going through a good Dasha Bhukti, this is likely to pass very quickly. And visits to holy places may also face restrictions during this time because of Saturn's seventh aspect on the ninth house. Only one remedy which I would give you now is to wear a Raksha Sutra. This is an auspicious thread that people tie around their arm. It could be any color, doesn't really matter, but preferably from a Shiva temple would benefit you greatly. And that's all I've got for Capricorn folks. If this prediction resonated with you, please subscribe below and hit that like button and share this with your friends and family. Next in line we have Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius Moon Sign. Hello Aquarius Ascendants or Aquarius Moon Sign. Saturn rules your 12th and first houses, and he goes to your second house in the Pisces sign in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra. And for Aquarius Moon Sign, I can say the worst is over with Sari Sati, and you're now seeing the last phase of Saturn's 7.5 years in the Pisces sign. Although much of it is over, especially the health concerns, you may still have to see some more time till the entire Sari Sati is over, because Saturn will go Vakra, will go retrograde in the sign of Pisces, looking back at your first house. So hang in there. This is a time for you to reflect on some of the difficulties that have shaped your present situation. But you're about to see great momentum in life, mainly because of Rahu will be transiting in your first house. So here it's about dedicating your time and resources in achieving financial stability. You would want a stable income, and you're going to work really hard towards that. And you're going to achieve it as well. But in the process of achieving that goal, you're also bound to spend money, like marketing your skill or profession to get noticed. And Rahu can sometimes make you take the easy route to success. Hook or crook, you want to sell your product or skill, and that's what we're looking at this year for Aquarius. Second house Saturn is also about investing for the long term, and since it's aspecting the 4th house, this indicates a good time for you guys to invest money in property. It could be land or a house for yourself, and you'd be successful in that kind of transaction. It could also be through joint investment with members of your family or in-laws or even your spouse. Fantastic time for that. But like I said, Saturn always gives you some discomfort and difficulty in the house that it is transiting. If you're going to invest money in property, it means you won't be able to save much money because of the EMIs or because you're seeing a sudden erosion in your savings. Saturn in second also indicates auspicious events taking place within the family. If you're looking for marriage or even remarriage, but for some reason it's not happened, then this is maybe a time that this could actually materialize. Whether that's good or bad is another topic depending on your birth chart. And since Ketu will be transiting in the 7th house, who knows, your past boyfriend, girlfriend can come back into your life. Saturn's aspect on the 8th house will now give you longevity, great health. Aquarius natives will also see some of their worries and anxieties disappearing, or at least you will fake it till you make it. You will at least pretend that things are okay, and that mindset in itself will become therapeutic and will give you courage to keep treading forward. So asserting those affirmatives in your mind is going to be beneficial for you guys. As far as career goes, you could see some changes during Saturn transit. Maybe move to a different location, or even take on a different role at work, or even get a promotion or start your own business. And probably that's where the money might be going this year. Remember, the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra is a very auspicious nakshatra, and that means you will find stability in whatever you're doing despite the chaos. You may be short of cash, you may have dedicated your entire life savings on something and risked your life only to see the stability that you always wanted. You're willingly going into that turbulence, like I talked about in the introduction, but the nakshatra will undoubtedly reward those who put in the right effort. So money will come, but money will also go. All of it aimed to achieve a comfortable and peaceful life for the future. Second house is speech, so watch how you speak to people. Don't be harsh in your language, and at the same time, don't lie to people to please them. I've seen Saturn second giving people a big liar tag, or you will at least be perceived as a person who does things to curry people's favor, and that's why you're being a sweet talker. You know, it's just circumstantial, and you do it because you have no other option. But if you're going to fake it, then people are going to know about it. So avoid lying or giving false testimony for someone. This is also very important. If you give false testimony for someone at this time, you could get into trouble. You may also have a craving for salty foods during this transit. Try to limit your intake for salt. And that's all. Speaking the truth and avoiding shortcuts in your life would be your remedy. Okay, and that's all I've got for Aquarius, folks. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe below and also share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Pisces ascendant or Pisces moon sign. Dear Pisces, let's see what this transit holds for you. Saturn rules your 12th and 11th houses and moves to the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra in the Pisces sign, in your natal sign, and that means that Saturn is now arriving at your doorstep. Would you welcome it? That's the big question. Saturn is struggle, Saturn is trouble. The sooner you embrace the chaos that's inevitable, the faster you will find stability in your mind. The more averse you are at the thought of struggle and conflict, the more difficult this transit will be for you. So the negative part of this transit is that Saturn's arrival can give you health issues. If you are a Pisces moon sign, it could be mental stress. If you are a Pisces ascendant, there could be both physical as well as mental strain. Some of you are bound to see a decline in your health. A general weakness may set in. But if you take the signal seriously, then you might just start working out or dieting, and that in itself will become the cure that you are searching for, because Saturn expects discipline and consistency in your health routine. And if you show this discipline, it will of course wear you out, no doubt about that. But you could also lose weight or shed a lot of fat, but you will be pleased with the results, and that's Saturn transit for you. But right now, because of Saturn's transit in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra, the results will be much quicker, and the relief will sweep through your mind once you embrace the challenges, because this is one such nakshatra where Saturn is willing to reward you instantly if you embrace the change, and it is a very auspicious nakshatra, very fiery and calm at the same time. So everything eventually depends on you. Your action or inaction will decide your fate. Unlike other signs, Saturn transiting Pisces will give you an opportunity to mend your ways and show discipline and dedication, or leave you settled with whatever losses are coming towards you. Some of you could get into depression, see a lot of expenses, which is more than you can cough up. But you would have to start saving or end up borrowing more, and then it's an endless circle. You pay and then borrow and then pay. So try to hang in there. I know that solutions are not so elegant when Saturn transits the moon sign, but whatever call you take will decide your future. And you better think from all angles. Why am I saying this? Why is this so important? Why is your decision so important? Because Saturn is your 11th lord of gains and also your 12th lord of losses. So your action and inaction is the line between gains and losses. If you apply your mind, you can keep your mind active and intelligent. But if you don't apply your mind, you could see a decline in your cognitive functions. There could be a general slowdown, even otherwise. But you need to eat the right foods to stay healthy. You should go for vitamin supplements if you have to, after consulting a qualified medical professional. Aspect on the third house means if you work really hard, you will see success. But if you let go, then you would have to sustain losses. If you put in the effort, you will succeed. But if you're lazy and not willing to work towards any goal in life, then you won't achieve. Very straightforward and very simple, is it not? Same thing with marriage and relationships as well. Saturn's aspect on the 7th house will expect you to take the role of the camel and take on all the burden. I'm sorry to be saying this, but it really is the case with Saturn in the first house. If you do, you might enjoy your marriage. If you don't, you're just going to have it difficult. For those looking forward to get married, Saturn in the first may actually delay your marriage prospects right now. Saturn's cutting you no slack whatsoever, and the perfect song that comes to my mind is one of Maiden's all-time hits called The Thin Line Between Love and Hate. And that's exactly how Saturn would behave in this sign. You're the architect of your own future. If you lose, you've got nobody else to blame but yourself. But remember, it's not just that action will reward you and inaction will make you lose. It could also be vice versa. You need to be patient where you should be and not overreact. Overreacting would possibly give you negative results. But that apart, if you work really hard, stay humble, and embrace the challenges, I can guarantee that Saturn will give you permanent wealth, great income, a great set of friends, and happiness, because dreams are going to come true during this transit in Pisces. So Pisces, it's up to you to turn this Sati Sati around and make this as one of the best transits yet, and you will be so happy and glad that you took life seriously. Remedy for Pisces ascendants is to pay attention to your body, pay attention to your sixth sense, pay attention to every signal that you receive and take immediate remedial measures. And that's all you need to do. Alright, that's the end of my Saturn transit video in the sign of Pisces in the Uttarabadrapada Nakshatra. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please share this with your friends and family. I'll see you guys again with another new video very soon.